Meet the ocean's top bloke, the orca. Good day, legends. Let's talk about one of the most magnificent creatures in the big blue, the orca, also known as the killer whale. Now don't let that name fool you. These aren't mindless monsters. They are incredibly intelligent, social animals, living in tight-knit family groups called pods. You can find them in every single ocean on this beautiful planet, from the freezing waters of the Arctic to the warm tropical seas. They are absolutely stunning, with their sleek black and white bodies cutting through the water. What a beauty! They communicate with a whole range of clicks, whistles and calls, working together as a team. True blue family these guys are. Now, when you talk about the top of the food chain, the king of the castle, you're talking about an apex predator. That's a fancy way of saying there's no other animal out there that regularly hunts them for a feed. They are the bosses, the top dogs, or in this case, the top whales. Being an apex predator means you have a massive responsibility in keeping the whole ecosystem balanced. They keep other animal populations in check, making sure no single species gets too big for its boots and takes over. From tiny fish to massive whales, the orca's dinner plate has a bit of everything, which shows just how adaptable and clever they really are. Orcas are the ultimate hunters, absolute champions of strategy. They don't just swim around hoping for a feed, they plan, they coordinate, and they use their incredible brains. Some pods have learned to create waves to wash seals off ice floes. Others will work together to herd schools of fish into a tight ball, making them easy to scoop up. They even teach these amazing hunting techniques to their young, passing down knowledge from one generation to the next. It's like a family tradition of being a total legend. This teamwork and smarts make them one of the most successful predators on Earth. What really gets my heart pumping is how diverse their diets are. Different pods around the world specialize in different types of prey. You've got some orcas that are absolute fish specialists, chasing after salmon with incredible precision. Then you have other pods, the real thrill seekers that go after much bigger tucker, like sea lions, dolphins, and even other whales. This specialization is what makes them so unique. It shows that they're not just one type of killer whale, they're a collection of different cultures, each with its own way of life and its own special menu. It's a beautiful example of nature's variety, and we've got to protect it. Right, let's get to the main event, the Clash of the Titans. We're talking about orcas versus great white sharks. Now, for years, we all thought the great white was the undisputed king of the ocean, a magnificent, powerful creature that deserves all our respect. But every now and then, something truly extraordinary happens. We've seen evidence, especially off the coast of places like South Africa and Australia, that orcas are not only capable of hunting great whites, but they do it with stunning skill. It's not something that happens every day, mind you. It's a rare and special event, a true battle of apex predators. When these two ocean giants meet, it's a real test of brains versus brawn. The great white shark is pure power, a torpedo of muscle and teeth. But the orca, she's a strategist. Orcas often hunt in pairs or small groups, using their numbers and intelligence to their advantage. They know the shark's weakness. A shark needs to keep moving to breathe, and if you can flip it upside down, it goes into a state called tonic immobility. It's like it's been hypnotized, completely helpless. The orcas have figured this out. They'll ram the shark from the side, then use their powerful flukes to flip it over. Absolutely brilliant. The hunters become the hunted. Imagine being a great white shark, cruising along, thinking you're the toughest bloke in the sea, and then, out of the blue, a pod of orcas shows up with a plan. These encounters are often swift and incredibly precise. We've seen drone footage of this, and it'll take your breath away. The orcas work together like a well-oiled machine, isolating the shark and executing their move perfectly. It shows a level of intelligence and cooperation that is just mind-blowing. They aren't just brute forcing it, they are using complex tactics that they have likely learned and perfected over time. This behavior has left scientists and nature lovers like myself completely gobsmacked. It turns everything we thought we knew on its head. For the longest time, the great white was the ultimate symbol of ocean power. To see it being hunted so effectively by orcas really proves that the killer whale is the true apex predator of the seas. It's a powerful reminder that in the wild, there's always something bigger, faster, or smarter. Nature is always full of surprises, and this showdown is one of the biggest surprises of them all. What a spectacle! So here's the really fascinating bit. After the orcas have successfully taken down a massive great white shark, they don't just eat the whole thing. Crikey, no. They are very picky eaters. In most cases, they perform what is almost like surgical work. They carefully open up the shark's body and go straight for one specific organ, the liver. That's right. They go through all that effort, taking on one of the most dangerous animals in the sea just for a single part. It's like going to a fancy restaurant and only ordering the most expensive dish on the menu. Why the liver, you ask? Well, a shark's liver is an absolute powerhouse of nutrition. It's massive, making up a huge portion of the shark's body weight, and it's packed full of rich oils and fats. The real prize here is a substance called squalene. This stuff is like high-octane fuel. It's an oily compound that is incredibly energy-rich. For an animal as big and active as an orca, getting a massive dose of energy like this is a huge win. They get the maximum amount of calories for their effort, without having to fill up on the less nutritious muscle and cartilage of the shark. This is a perfect example of how intelligent these animals are. They have learned through generations that the shark's liver is the best part, the most energy-dense meal they can get. They're not just eating to be full, they're eating for efficiency. This selective feeding behavior is seen in other predators too, but the precision with which orcas extract the liver is just next level. They can tear it out without damaging the rest of the carcass much at all. It shows a deep understanding of the anatomy of their prey. They are not just hunters, they are gourmets of the deep blue sea. Now, while the liver is the main course, sometimes they might fancy a little something extra. In some cases, observers have noted that orcas might also eat the shark's heart or other nutrient-rich organs. But more often than not, the rest of the shark's body is left to drift away, providing a feast for smaller scavengers on the seafloor. It's a stark reminder of the orca's power and preference. They have the luxury of being picky. This behavior highlights their position at the very top, where they can afford to choose the choicest cut and leave the rest behind. When an apex predator starts hunting another apex predator, it can send massive ripples through the entire ecosystem. It's a real game changer. In places like False Bay in South Africa, which was once a world-famous hotspot for great white sharks, the arrival of a few liver-loving orcas has had a dramatic effect. After a few sharks were hunted, the other great whites in the area just disappeared. They literally packed their bags and left town. They can sense the danger, and they're smart enough to know when it's time to get out of dodge. This creates what scientists call a landscape of fear. The presence of orcas, even just a couple of them, can change the behavior of great whites over a huge area. The sharks will abandon their usual hunting grounds to avoid becoming a meal themselves. This means they are not hunting in the places they normally would, which has a knock-on effect. For example, the seal populations that the sharks used to prey on might start to grow, which can then put more pressure on fish stocks. It's all connected, like a big, beautiful, and sometimes brutal web of life. The long-term consequences of this shift are something we're still trying to understand. If great white sharks are permanently pushed out of their key habitats, it could change the whole structure of the marine community. These sharks are a keystone species, meaning they have a huge role in keeping the ocean healthy. The fear of orcas could force them into new areas where they might not thrive as well or where they might come into more conflict with humans. It's a massive puzzle, and scientists are working hard to put the pieces together to see what the future holds for these magnificent sharks. In the end, this incredible drama between orcas and great whites is a powerful lesson from Mother Nature. It shows us that ecosystems are not static. They are constantly changing and evolving. The orca, with its intelligence and cultural learning, has proven to be the ultimate marine predator, capable of shifting the balance of power in the ocean. While it's tough to see our beloved great whites on the run, it's a stunning display of the wild's raw and untamed beauty. We must continue to watch, learn, and do everything we can to protect these incredible animals and the big blue home they live in. What a world!